in the 9th, and if he picks up 2, he's still 2 behind, and the other rink will have the hammer coming home. So when you're down by 4 in the late ends, you're really in between a rock and a hard place.
And again, the fatigue might have something to do with it, but I watched a couple games here this morning. Bob Rogensack got a low heat Alberta, and Bob's won a few, lost a few all week, but he just wasn't making the shots today, and it's you know, and when the other team steals, it's really hard to get back in the ballgame.
Of course, you've got to expect that curlers are bound to miss a few shots during the week, a few late nights, and getting tired. And when you get tired, you're bound to lose your balance a bit. And that plays such an important role when you come out of the hack. If you don't have good balance, then you're not going to have a good shot. And when you get tired, it really does affect the curlers. And some of them perhaps don't have as much energy to sweep as hard as they'd like to. So the tiredness does take its toll on the curlers. And as we mentioned, they haven't curled since the winter, so they're going to be pretty tired.
Now this is an interesting situation here. Chaz has last rock. He's basically got a cold takeout to get his 2. Could make it interesting. He doesn't want to. It looks like he's going to draw. Reg just asked him to put it over in the other one. Apparently he feels more confident with his draw right now, and that rock seems to be falling off a little bit. It's starting to come now, but again, he might be a little heavy. Just a little heavy.
It's heavy. It's through there. It's through there. Missed a golden opportunity there.
And he got his 1. And of course, after 9 ends now, it's 9-6. And
that was a big miss by Mearkley. If he would have got it in there, I'm surprised they did play the draw, but as you say, he must have been more confident in his draw than his takeout, because he did have a clear takeout. If he makes the takeout and stays, he's down by 2 coming home, and it's still a tough situation, but down by 3, you know that the Kohele or the Mearkley rink's going to put up guards, and the Smith rink's just going to run him off until Mearkley runs out of rocks.
Yeah. Lead Mickey Maglio is going to try to start the comeback right now.
Tough situation, but not impossible. All they really need is 1 miss, and if Mearkley does manage to have Smith miss a shot, then you can always build on that, but or have a nose hit and staying around. But other than that, really not too many options.
Keith Comstock for the Smith rink is asked to take that middle guard out. And of course, he doesn't want to stay around himself. He might miss that shot. He's missed it. Now this could be set up an interesting. I would imagine Mickey's going to be asked to start building that house in behind him and put 1 in. The center ice, as we mentioned before, the center ice, the rocks aren't moving at all. They have to be very, very careful. And of course, that might have been one of John Mearkley's plans when he asked Mickey to put that first rock in there. It could be kind of tough.
Of course, you're saying 3 down, tough, but not impossible. And this week we've already seen some rather strange occurrences, like Carol Waters' 7-ender last night. Right. Who would have thought that not only is it strange to have a 7-ender, but the ironic thing is she had the 7 but still lost the game. Now, I don't know if that happens too often.
I think he's got a good shot in there. He's partially buried it. It almost looks like it's all buried. It's in the the 8-foot.
If you're looking to steal 1 or maybe 2, what you'd probably do is set up guards and set up junk out front until it got down to skip rocks, and then rely on your skip to draw in back. But when you're trying to steal 3, then you have to go in a little earlier than you probably want to.
And Keith Comstock, excuse me, just made an excellent shot. He raised. Smith is now laying 1. Chaz Catalano Excuse me, it is still Mearkley. That's right. They raised the red stone on. So once again, they're going to try to go in behind the blue rock out front. As you say, he can't afford to be pretty about this. He's just got to fill the house with rocks and hope for the best.
One thing I could also mention, finally this morning, one of the visiting teams was finally knocked out of the competition in the D event. That was the Bill Robinson Rink of Calgary. And perhaps you might not know who the Robinson Rink is, but they're the ones that dressed up like the Egyptians and won the costume contest and captured the minds and imaginations of most of the people who are here at the Nelson Midsummer Bonspiel. So not only do they show that they can dress up with the best of them, they also show that they can curl pretty decently. They won a few games but were knocked out this morning.
And their helicopter trip was canceled yesterday because of the weather, but I understand they went out this morning. I haven't talked to them yet, but it'd be a great trip to Kohele. Daryll Smith is being asked to get rid of the Mearkley rock there. They almost seem to be going for the double there. He's going to stick around. And he played a great shot. He's almost frozen to the Mearkley rocks.
Finals tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock. Of course, midsummer activities wrapping up Sunday morning, I believe, with the bike-a-thon tomorrow night. And of course, the Nelson Midsummer Hockey Game, 7:30 at the Civic Center, and a lot of good hockey players showing up.
Of course, Shaw Cable 10 will be there. We'll telecast the game on a delay basis Sunday evening.
Constantly amazed how many good hockey players come out of a small area like the West Kootenay. NHLers out of Trail and Castlegar and Nelson, one from Preston, so definitely quality of hockey players here is second to none.
Right. This is Daryll Smith, again trying to take out that top guard. They're on it very fast. He doesn't want to stay around. He's got a nice looking shot there.
Just watching that Mearkley stone go into the sheet 4 here. Funny occurrence last game involving Dale Hockley of Castlegar. It was down to the 10th end, a lot of tension. It was a tie game coming home to the 10th end, and one of the curlers made a takeout, and one of the rocks hit another one and went darting over to the sheet beside them. And Dale Hockley went running and jumping and skipping over rocks here and there. He ran into the wall, and eventually what happened was the rock from Hockley's game went running through the house of the other game and caused minor havoc and a bit of a disturbance, but comic relief in what was a very tense situation at the time.
That's right. Red Kohele in the hack now, getting ready to deliver his first stone. Rock's on its way. They're not laying a broom on it. He seems to once again. Third Erroll Smith of the Smith Rink, excuse me, is being asked to remove that one. And John Mearkley is very quickly running out of rocks here.
Interesting thing, Art, as you're getting down to the semifinals and the higher competition, the number of teams wearing costumes drops dramatically. One of the teams that was doing quite well in the A actually got to the the quarterfinals was Fouth of Acadia Valley, and the interesting thing about them, they wore hockey uniforms that looked like Los Angeles Kings home uniforms, And the team members carried baseball gloves. Now, I never talked to any of them to find out why they carried baseball gloves, perhaps just to be a little bit different, but they look like goalies more than curlers out there.
Red Kohele's second shot. They're on that right away. Maybe just a little narrow. Well, there's a few rocks in the house. It's looks like it's fairly congested in there.
Bit of a log jam, but looks like Mearkley is lying to at this time.
Erroll Smith's rock's on the way.
Just lying one.
They're not laying a broom on that one either.
Yeah. Good shot.
Yeah, nice bit of curling. Down to Skip's rocks, and I would imagine if Kevin Smith misses his first shot, they'll have a chance, but other than that, I don't imagine they'll throw all the Skip rocks.
Well, Mearkley's got one in there, and Smith has a pair in there, so Merck's going to have to pull out some magic here just for the tie.
On that hard right now.
Shaking hands now.
Well, that wraps up the quarterfinal C. Kevin Smith from Champion, Alberta goes to the semifinals. I imagine they'll play tomorrow. Tomorrow morning he'll have two. And that pretty well wraps up our coverage of the 43rd annual Nelson Midsummer Bonspiel. Reminder that the finals start tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and you'll see some great curling down there. Micha, I would like to thank you. We're back inside off the ice. It's a little bit warmer in here, Micha. We thought we'd do the ending of this program where it's a little more comfortable. Before we close off, I'd like to ask you some of your main impressions of the week. Anything stand out in your mind?
Well, curling is considered a sport, but I really don't consider the Nelson Midsummer Bonspiel to be a sporting event. I think it's more of a cultural event. This is the first time I've spent a week down here, and previous years I'd just come down and see the finals. But to get a taste of what it's like, you really have to spend a week down here, starting from about Sunday night, and you'll see that why people really enjoy it. It's a time to meet friends, and I was talking with a few people, and they say the Nelson Bonspiel is a real highlight for them. Talking with people in Edmonton, one person from Edmonton, he said in Edmonton they actually had a Nelson night during the Briar for people who had curled in the Midsummer Bonspiel. So it's a real cultural event, and people make a lot of friendships, and it's interesting that way.
And before we're just running out of time, so before we close, I'd like to thank you for your help this week. I know the long hours you put in, and you're going to be here after we leave, and for that I really appreciate your help, and thank you very much. And just a reminder that tomorrow night is the Midsummer Hockey Game. You may watch that on Shaw Cable on Sunday. It will be a delayed telecast. Also, the Ernie Gare Bike-a-thon from the Dairy Queen, I believe that starts at 9 o'clock on Sunday, and that's for a good cause for Nelson Minor Sports, so you might want also to take in that. And I'd like to also thank my cameraman Kevin Forsyth, my sound man James Cowan. Thanks, guys. You made this job real easy this week, and
talking into this thing is probably the easiest part. I'm Art Maxwell from the 43rd Annual Midsummer Bonspiel. Good night.